It was a topic. I sent it to you. Is your microphone on?
Yes. That's how you're going to start?
You call these bagels?
That's how you're going to start?
We're doing 2 microphones again. Do you think it's better that way?
Well, what do you want to start with then?
Whatever I sent you.
Can you find what you sent me and I can start with something else?
Oh my god. Yeah, start with whatever your shit.
I have a really stupid thing to start with.
Perfect.
And it won't take that long.
Trump singing Summertime Sadness, is that what I said?
No. Oh, jeez. Did you see that someone posted on Twitter Pete Buttigieg's Chipotle order?
Yes. Okay.
I want to talk about this because it's very telling.
Yes. I think that Chipotle orders are the astrology signs of the 2020s. And it's so interesting to me that Pete Buttigieg, a fake gay person, orders the most basic burrito bowl at Chipotle. I know it's Chipotle he's gone to. I've walked by it many times in D.C. He ordered... What did he order? You want to read it off?
Yeah. And by the way, it says entree 1 of 1, which means he wasn't ordering for anyone else.
Not for Chasen or his staff.
It seems like the person who posted this... It was at night. Yeah, because you can see the windows behind him. It is clearly dark. It is clearly a dinner order.
Why isn't his husband cooking?
Why isn't he having dinner with his husband and 2 children?
Because his husband has pills for dinner, allegedly.
So it says.
I want to mention just one thing. I've become more and more right about Chasen Buttigieg and his allegedly pill popping habits.
Right or correct?
Both.
Okay. He clearly ordered it over an app.
An opioid salad?
It says Peter B.
Wait, who's Peter B? Is that his, like...
That's his alias, I guess.
That's a... Peter.
So he ordered...
Peter!
He ordered a bowl with white rice. So first of all, not a bottom.
No brown rice. We have no fiber in that
No
time.
fiber.
None.
Fajitas, as in, I guess, the fajita veggies. I don't know.
Yeah.
Pinto beans. Who's going to Chipotle and getting pinto beans?
You get black beans at Chipotle. If you get anything else, you're a mark. Next.
Chicken.
God.
Cheap.
Broke. Which a broke ass. By the way, he's like a $256,000 government salary. Broke.
Medium green salsa. Cheese. And lettuce.
No.
No sour cream, no corn,
no guacamole.
Like
no red salsa, no extra cheese like you should. Lettuce because you want to get listeria. He's he's trying to lose weight. That is honestly, if the devil placed a Chipotle order, that would be it. And this is a bowl, right?
Yeah.
It's a burrito bowl.
Yeah.
Fuck him.
Yeah, bowl with. Yeah.
I don't trust these people.
It's the most Midwest order. I mean,
It's the most mid Chipotle order.
I can chalk it up to the fact that he's from the Midwest. I mean, no offense to the people that are.
But he's not.
Kind of.
His family's from Malta. They eat exciting food in Malta. It's southern Italy. They eat, people.
But, like, someone made the comment, this is neither a bottom nor tops order. Refining the plausibility that Pete is in fact asexual.
This is a very asexual order. If you order a burrito bowl like that, you are not having intercourse ever with anybody. I really don't trust him. I'm very scared of him, and I feel like I'm scared in the sense of okay.
I'm more scared of Chasen than I am.
No, but in the Matrix, when they met the agents, and the agents were wearing these these oblong glasses and stuff like that, and you meet with them, and you're like, this could be anyone. They could represent anyone, and they're just very just like this nonplussed face to everything, generic. Like you could place him anywhere in a crowd. That's what I feel like with Pete. Very scary.
Well, this leads me to my second topic, which I teased to you earlier.
Tease?
Yeah.
Dita Von Teese.
So, speaking of sexual appetite, I guess.
Oh, God.
I found out something very interesting about pumpkin spice.
You say it like it's a drag queen.
So, pumpkin spice, someone recently put out a scientific study where pumpkin spice has a different reaction in the male of a species than it does the female.
So basically, men are non-reactive to it, and women are like, oh.
Quite honestly, the opposite.
Really?
Women apparently have no reaction.
Why do they order it?
There's various other scientific reasons for that.
Various?
But this is what begs the question. I sort of have a lot of questions based off of this. But what I found out was pumpkin spice apparently makes the male of the species more horny.
Ah.
And wanting to put it in terms of the study, it made male mice more rabid for sexual contact with their
more amorous
with their female.
Does anyone use that term anymore? Amorous?
No. So I want to know, number one, why aren't more, especially straight men clamoring to drink more pumpkin spice? Why don't they like it if it makes them more I don't want to use the word horny, but
use the word amorous. It's much more. It's a better euphemism.
Okay, more amorous. Fine.
My thing with pumpkin spice is, I think it's a fine thing to try once during a holiday season, in the same way you would drink a hot cocoa in the winter, or something floral or botanical in the spring, like a floral gin, like the Floradora Hendrix. That sounds like a bad drag queen. Floradora Hendrix. I seen her down at District. But
you're not answering my question.
What I'm getting back to is, I don't understand how it's become this phenomena. And I say phenomena because it's in multiple areas. Like,
then these phenomena, you mean?
Yes, because pumpkin spice is a candle. It's a drink at so many places. It's an
Oreo.
It's an Oreo. Like it's all in food and drink. It is universally pervasive.
Right. And
I know people at Starbucks who work there, and they tell me everyone came in the first couple days for it, and now no one cares. And that's in early September, late August. And by the way, Starbucks now has offered a 2-for-1
on Thursdays.
On Thursdays for pumpkin spice because they're trying to get that shit out. So I think. Now, by the way, I have a secret shame. I went to Bath and Body Works in 2002, and I bought a face scrub that was pumpkin. Because it was on Oprah's.
Didn't work.
It was on Oprah's favorite things list.
Oh my god!
And I also bought another one that was neem oil because it was supposed to help my acne at the time. This is 2002. 9/11 had just happened, and it was 9/11 happened, but I had really bad acne, and I don't know which was worse. Both came out of nowhere. Both were the fault of Arabs. But
your acne. Never mind.
It was the genetics. But I remember when that was when pumpkin took off, because it was this pumpkin thing you put on your face as a mask. I may still have it in storage. This face mask is 20 years old now. But it was when it was
at Bath and Body Works, it's probably still good.
It's probably fine. Like it's fine. It was basically edible. Less product, it would kill you. But
yeah, if you opened it, it would kill all of us.
Like, some kind of spore. But I am fascinated with the fact that it's taken this cultural hold. So, pumpkin is related to cucumber, which is in your drink now. You made us a nice white linen.
It's a gourd, yes.
Yes. What'd you call me? Squash. Cucurbit. It's the cucurbit family.
It's a gourd.
On a vine. Don't use that word.
There's nothing wrong with gourds.
Yes.
People decorate with the... You've never seen a decorative gourd? The amount of old women that I've heard use that phrase before.
Decorative
it's a decorative gourd for fall.
These women just get a bunch of things that grow on fucking vines, they stick them in their house, and they throw them away in like a month. That's insane to me. But pumpkin spice, as you say, makes men more amorous.
Well, I was going to use the word virile, but that's not true.
Then I think it has something to do with the fact that this pumpkin is a sugar-holding fruit. And so people have this in the same way they have watermelon throughout the year or whatever else, and it makes them more like, it's more energy.
But that's not my question. I don't question the science of it. I'm sure there is some reason, there's some chemical, there's some compound that reacts differently in men with like testosterone. But my question is, why aren't more men liking and consuming pumpkin spice if it gets them an end result, right? So go with me here. If you are a single straight white man, single white man.
Are they still left?
Sorry, single straight man. Race has nothing to do with it.
Yes, it does.
I mean, I just don't see many black men drinking pumpkin spice. But then again, I don't see
even
many
my
white men
barista,
either.
who's a black gay man, is like, I'm not drinking this shit.
But my point is, why are there not more single straight men who are clamoring to order this drink or this product in hopes of having something in common with a female, or in hopes of striking up a conversation? I'm drinking the same thing, and then it makes them more amorous, and thus leads to procreation.
Because
whatever,
ordering a pumpkin spice drink makes you a faggot.
But why? Why does it have that stigma if the science says it makes men more?
Because, here we go. Because in the same way that a bunch of gays do poppers and straight people enjoy it at times and probably use it
to clean their VCR tapes.
Exactly. And those VCRs are so clean. They're so clean. But in the same way where it's used for that, but historically it's used. I remember going to this is we want to talk about old times.
I didn't mean to open up this can of
No, you did. Studio apartment, 2 blocks up from Hollywood Boulevard. I sound like Dorit for a second with my fake European accent. 2 blocks up from Hollywood Boulevard with a straight friend. We go there. Very small studio, the size of this room. I know.
I only know of one. Well, no, 2 straight friends.
Very small room. Studio with a kitchen, bathroom, everything like that. Everyone there was straight. And I'm just sitting there in the corner like, the weird fox and that one thing. It's like I'm just like here. I'm here. And they started passing around poppers. And they're like, do you if you have this, it'll get you high. And I'm like, I know. And they're like, ooh, it feels so funny. And I'm like, wow, that's weird. So I don't know why it's not more of a straight thing in the same way that pumpkin spice is. There should be popper season.
Oh God, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there.
Summer is popper season at Starbucks. You know that's going to happen. In 5 years, they will have a Starbucks inhalants drink.
Oh God,
you know it's going to happen.
Whoa. I also find this study to be a little bit transphobic. Because
what does pumpkin spice do to trannies? I don't know. I would love.
Well, no. Seriously though, if it's linked to something in testosterone, then biological women taking testosterone to be trans men should theoretically also respond to it.
I think it would be funny if pumpkin spice made trannies violent.
Oh God, no! We don't need that. We don't need that.
We don't need more violent trannies.
Outlaw it. So this leads me to another topic.
Where's the segue?
No, it is a segue. Our dear listener Colin.
Who?
sent me an Indeed posting. And I don't know if he was trying to say that I should apply for this job. I'm going to, think better of him if he's listening. But do you know what the job was for?
What?
So it was in Seattle, Washington. So that's red flag number 1.
First mistake.
It is $50 an hour. So that was like, as I scrolled through, I was like, oh, okay. I kept going.
Why do you sound like Caitlin? Oh, okay.
Job description.
There's a form of employment.
Job description.
You just got you kids gotta get a job.
Job description.
My daughter has a makeup line. What? Go ahead.
Speech instructor at Trans Voice School.
Oh.
Yeah, bitch, do a spit take.
No. What kind of trans voices are you teaching them?
Seattle Voice Lab is one of the most sought-after vocal schools in the world. Known for their precise ear, steady intuition, and signature technique, they build the strength, character, and skills that create long-lasting voices for trans and non-binary people across the country.
No.
I'm just appalled. As someone who works in
linguistics,
phonetics specifically, and then it goes on. So, if we're talking about a voice coach, right?
Right.
Anyone who's a voice coach and or speech pathologist has to have very special credentials and very special training and all of this stuff. With my doctorate in linguistics with a focus on phonetics, I could not just walk into a job and be a voice coach / speech pathologist. You have to have certain credentials for that. Not at this place. They say experience. The only experience you need, teaching for 1 year.
I could teach for 1 year.
Teaching for 1 year. It is a remote position.
Oh, God.
And speech language pathology license, just preferred.
Mitch, just take this job. Please. Please.
I don't want to tell someone who has an Adam's apple, squeeze your, what little balls you have left and just come out.
You don't have to do that. You can just.
I am appalled.
I'm
disturbed and appalled, and Colin, damn you for sending me this.
Why?
I was mad for 24 hours.
Both of you should apply to this.
No.
How much is it?
$50 an hour.
Do it.
I'm not.
Do it.
No.
What are you going to do? What? You tell a tranny, talk a little lower? You tell someone to talk a little bit higher? Big fucking deal. $50 an hour. You could do this. You could do it.
I'd have to listen to them.
Big deal.
And their anti-fascist bullshit. Yeah, now it's too hot. You got to turn it back on.
You know what? Turn the fan down.
No, but
you said there was white noise on this podcast, and I was like, I know you're talking, but
I didn't stand up. You couldn't hear the wind whistling through me. I knew that joke was coming. But
$50 an hour.
Damn you for sending me this, and
why?
Damn you for
why are you
making me so
him?
Damn. He knows I'm kidding.
Reminds me of
it gave us a topic. It gave me something fun to laugh at.
There's another topic I'm going to get to. It reminds me of Obama's preacher, the Reverend Jeremiah Wright. Do you remember this?
Yes,
from
I do.
Yes,
I do.
Because he's like, no, not God bless America, God damn America. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. I miss Reverend Jeremiah Wright.
No,
I do.
No,
and I miss Father Flager, the crazy Catholic guy who was in charge.
You're gonna get us so canceled.
Why? What are they gonna do? But I love that Jeremiah Wright's church built like a $3 million house for him, and he's just like, okay, I'm retired, and just like retired. But because on Sean Hannity every night they played Jeremiah Wright's sermon. No, not God bless America, God damn America. It's in the Bible. It's in the Bible. And he did the big point with the big dashiki. I loved him. He was great.
The amount of times that my father watched that shit.
Because it was on every night.
It was on every night, and it was on O'Reilly and then Hannity. Hannity and Combs,
and then the Hannity repeat.
Oh, jeez.
I was so upset when Combs died.
I think the only person who didn't talk about it was Greta. With her...
She was still looking for Natalie Holloway.
With her stroke mouth.
We're down in Aruba with Natalie Holloway's mother. We're going to find her, and the Anna Nicole Smith trial. She had that crooked mouth. It was great. I love Greta.
She was a staple at Fox, and I'm sure she's missed.
And I wanted to lead that into another topic, the big thing that happened this week.
Sorry, Greta was the sufferable... and Nancy Grace.
Yes, because Nancy Grace like Katie Andrews should fry.
As soon as Greta came on, I would flip over to Headline News and watch Nancy Grace because I love her so much more. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, they're both Nancy Grace took a slot at Fox, which is really
on Fox
a weird.
Nation.
Well, it doesn't count. I want to talk about something very serious.
Oh God,
very serious. There's some allegations about
against you?
No, those have been discredited and or proven. But a former president of ours.
Oh God, no.
Yes. That were talked about on a podcast. Did you smoke crack cocaine with Barack Obama? I don't know who that voice is supposed to be.
I guess that was your Tucker impression.
That was really bad.
Yeah, it was.
Even Tucker would laugh at it. Larry Sinclair, who, by the way, I thought was killed. I didn't know he was still alive. But I guess there's a certain level of gay that you can't kill. Like, if AIDS didn't get him, if drugs didn't get him, they're still alive. And I love that he talked about, like...
You're one of them.
I'm not that old, like you.
No, you're not old. I'm saying you're one of them. You're never going to die.
Exactly.
And to the detriment of all of us. I've tried, folks.
Many times.
I've tried, folks.
You've tried poisoning me, and I'm like, I wish you put another shot in. In my drink.
The Oleander just doesn't take.
No, I use it as a mixer. What's wrong with you? You're so stupid. I can outlive anything.
And the Fox Club just doesn't grow here like it does back home.
No, but it's good. It has a little kick. But Larry Sinclair, who is one of the old meth gays. And
no. Old meth faggots.
Yes, okay, fine. You're right. Old meth faggots.
Please.
That probably has to be the title of this episode.
At least I came up with one this time. You always take your fucking lines for the title.
I don't. He's one of the old meth faggots coming on to Tucker's show and being like, yeah, I was in the back of a limo in 1999, and I put my hand there, he didn't stop. It felt like watching a Liberace documentary. Like, it was such an old gay recollection. I loved it.
But didn't he tell that same story to someone else, like, years and years ago?
And they're like, oh, he's an old gay, like, like criminal and everything. Like, he's been discredited before. I'm like, okay, but you listen to Christine Blasey Ford. You listen to all these old bitches and stuff like that. Like, I think that maybe... Here's the thing. The worst part is, I think he's probably right.
Well, the thing is, as someone pointed out, apparently, because I didn't watch it, apparently from the first time he was interviewed to this time, none of his story changed.
Okay.
Every detail was exactly the same.
Yes.
So either he is a literal sociopath, or he's telling the truth.
I think...
And chances are, because, sociopathy is not so common, that he's probably telling the truth.
Right. I think that it's more than probable that he's telling the truth. Only because I don't think he has an external motive.
True.
I don't think it's like, I make money off of Barack Obama.
But to be fair...
I think he would support whatever Barack Obama supported, so why would he lie?
But to be fair, sociopaths don't care if they have an outside interest.
That might be true, but I feel like gays...
Just because I've had many, encounters with sociopaths and stuff, so they don't care.
But he's not like, buy my supplements. there's not.
He doesn't have a product to hawk or
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I didn't watch the whole thing. I saw the clips from the X Tucker on X interview.
Right.
But
I didn't watch it.
But I think that it's very funny. I thought he died or was killed or something, and I think that plus they were talking about in Obama's letters that he wrote to somebody saying that he had an attraction to men. I don't think that's investigated. People say the Joan Rivers stuff and the Michelle's training. That may be true or not. Probably not. But no, I don't think so. But I think what is true, I guarantee that Obama's bisexual. He's basically admitted as much. And I do think that drug-wise, he acted that out. I really do. And no one's, looked into it. No one has any interest. They're like, I think he was maybe a little bit of crack, maybe a little funny business. Big deal. Who among us?
So to play devil's advocate just for a second.
Who's the devil here?
You.
Yes. Be my advocate. Not my healthcare advocate. Jesus Christ. You pulled the plug when I went in for a nose job.
Just like Joan Rivers. To play devil's advocate, people are linking this with, it's resurfacing now because of the allegations against the Obamas. With their former chef, right? Is that the man who turned up dead?
Yeah, that was a weird deal too.
Right, but my problem is if you're going to make some allegation that they murdered the chef, which whatever.
What kind of clue is this?
Why has this man not been murdered? Why has this man not been rubbed out or taken care of?
And that was the biggest thing.
Because he talked about it years ago.
Right.
No one took him seriously. Well, maybe now that people are actually taking him seriously, maybe he'll end up dead in a few weeks.
That was the thing. Someone said something very clear. They're like, you don't think that Hillary Clinton would have brought this out in 2007? Let's be honest. Her campaign would not have, dug this up. Who are we fucking kidding?
But I'm saying this now on record. Oh, today is...
That you slept with Barack Obama?
I'm saying this today on... I'm going to date this, even though it's going to be published much later. On September 8th, 2023...
13.
Yeah, 2013. 2023. If... What's Sinclair? What's his first name?
Larry Sinclair.
If Larry Sinclair turns up dead in the next few weeks, I would not be surprised, and we will then have
I would not be surprised because I thought it was the meth. But they might use that as an argument. I don't know.
No.
Many levels.
No, you're absolutely right.
There's something that I think has to be said. By the way, this gets into another topic, but it's something I was reading about.
Oh, God.
Why did Jeffrey Epstein fly back to Teterboro Airport in New Jersey? He was living in France. Why did Ghislaine Maxwell, who was apparently in hiding in France, come back? France is a non-extradition.
Is it?
Unless it's something very serious, they're relatively non-extradition.
Child trafficking is not serious?
Roman Polanski lived in France since 1973.
I think it was France.
Yeah, France is the one that shielded him, and then eventually other parts of Europe when it became more EU. France has a very strong.
I will admit, you could be right.
No, but I'm saying if anything happened, well, because he's Polish. If anything happened,
right? But I thought that's where he was living. I'm sorry.
But if anything happened, you can go to France. They're not going to send you back for the most part.
I did not know
And so
that.
people are like, what was the arrogance that made them think that they could be in the United States and live and not be otherwise arrested, imprisoned, detained, snuffed out? And similar to Danny Masterson from That 70s Show. You saw that thing this week.
No.
Oh, so Danny Masterson from That 70s Show got 30 years to life. He was the other guy with the little curls.
With the curly hair.
Yeah. 30 years to life for rape alleged of 2 women. But he got the book thrown at him.
I didn't see that.
Now, he is a very strong Scientologist. And that didn't help. That didn't help. What the fuck fuck is the point of Scientology if it doesn't keep you out of jail?
Joy Villa wasn't on his legal team.
No! But it's like, at a certain point, you're like, why don't you just leave? Like, why are you still here? Especially if they can rustle up a few defendants and talk about a few stories and all that. Now, Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher, Giovanni Ribisi, he is a Scientologist, the other two aren't. But Giovanni Ribisi is. All wrote letters in his defense and saying, be lenient, whatever. And he got 30 years on that. Ron Jeremy is in mental lockup because he grabbed a few women's tits at the Rainbow against their will. But it all comes down to, what do these people think are going to happen? And why don't they leave? And so with the Larry Sinclair thing, why don't you just buy a one-way ticket to Amsterdam and just, if you think that someone's going to come after you?
He might.
He might.
If he's smart, he might. But he's a meth faggot, so.
Well, he is, but he looks okay. Like, he looked okay enough. He didn't die on Tucker's table.
Right. I got the impression, again, I didn't watch it, but the few snippets that I saw, I got the impression that he was probably a little bit more cleaned up than he had been.
In the previous press conference, he had a little bit more, coming off something. He looked like he went to Bayou and, snort a little something, and he was fine.
Okay. Probably last topic, unless you have something else to bring up.
The thing I sent you?
Well, you sent me a lot of stuff over the past week. But you made a comment, and so I want to talk about two dynasties of Louisiana politics.
Oh, I have an extension for this.
Because there's information that, you don't know, and that, I'm going to be honest. 8th grade, I'm
bringing it up, by the way.
8th grade, every student in Louisiana has to take Louisiana history.
Which, by the way, I think is one of the most interesting histories of any state. Because you have French, Spanish influence, plus it's
some fucked up shit. No, so we talked about Huey Long on a previous episode like a year ago. But what I didn't mention at the time, I don't think, maybe I mentioned slightly, his brother, Earl K. Long, was also governor for like 4 terms. Because the Louisiana Constitution states that you are termed out after 2 terms, but it is only consecutive terms. So if one governor serves a term in the interim, you can then come back and run again for another 2 terms.
Yes.
So Earl K. Long, Huey Long's brother, was governor of Louisiana, obviously after Huey was assassinated and killed. But he God
damn it.
What?
I want an auction.
You want an auction? You didn't want to win this auction?
Well, I wanted to win Dennis Hopper's shot through a... There was a picture of Mao that Andy Warhol painted, and Dennis Hopper shot through the frame, and that got sold for more than I had down. But I won.
Wait, so you didn't win?
I didn't win.
Oh,
but I
thought
won.
You said you did win.
I did win one.
Oh. Okay.
I won Elizabeth Taylor's scarf.
Oh.
And her Versace belt.
Does it smell like the Abbey?
I hope so. And I want a picture of Marilyn Monroe.
Oh my... What? Anyway.
They were cheap.
So yeah, Earl K. Long was the 45th governor of Louisiana, and he served for 9 years. So not consecutively, obviously. He was a brother of Huey Long, but this is the fascinating thing. He went, as some people say, insane. There are stories that he apparently, was laughing as he was pissing himself in an elevator. And from the Wikipedia article, they put it very mildly, but they say Long was known for eccentric behavior, leading some to suspect he had bipolar disorder.
Oh.
In his last term in office, his wife, Blanche Revere Long, and others attempted to remove him on grounds of mental instability. So his wife forced him out of office. For a time, Long was confined to the Southeast Louisiana Hospital in Mandeville, but his legal advisor rescued him from the institution.
Hero.
Long was never formally diagnosed with any mental disorder. Commentators have speculated that political opposition may have led the effort to prove him mentally incompetent, including his wife, who resented his connection with some other political person. So basically, the Longs in Louisiana politics and history are the Kennedys, for all intents and purposes. And as the most, cherry on top of the irony of all of this, Charity Hospital in Baton Rouge was named after him, Earl K. Long Hospital. It is now since closed, but I went there with my sister at one juncture in her life. And I was sitting in the waiting room, and that, to use the words of my dear former custodian, I almost fell out. Earl K. Long Hospital was a sight to see in the early 2000s.
Oh, so it's like the murder MLK hospital that was closed down in
This was a charity hospital that, Charity Hospital alone should alert you.
Yeah.
But it was a hospital that had not probably been touched or renovated since the 1940s.
Oh my God! So it's basically a converted sanitarium.
Yes, and the tile and the seats and you felt like
they hose every patient down before they walk in.
You walk back in time when you walked in that building. I think it is now a condemned building.
You want the 2010s in a hospital. Maybe not your furniture design, but you want that in the hospital. You don't want to fit a child in a hospital.
To name a charity hospital after a governor who was really only known, mostly, for going insane during his last term in office is a slap in the fucking face to the people who need charity work. But yeah, that's one part of Louisiana history, which you brought up. Secondly, the other dynasty of Louisiana politics is the Edward family.
Yes.
And John Bell Edwards, who is the current governor of Louisiana, is part of that dynasty. And his, I think, great uncle or something.
The Edward family and the Long family basically run that state. And we have to talk about the Lujan family too.
Well, that was New Mexico, but yes, the Edwards family has run that state for a long time. But this is the story that I wanted to tell. So Edwin Edwards, just like Huey Long, served as governor for 4 terms. So there was an interim term in between. But he famously ran against David Duke.
Right.
Who was the Grand Wizard of the KKK. Who, by the way, to put history in perspective, David Duke, when he ran for governor, ran as a Republican. However, he was a registered Democrat as the Grand Wizard of the KKK up until a few months before he threw his hat in the ring for governorship.
So he knew what he was doing.
David Duke was a Democrat his entire life. So to say that, he was some racist Republican is absolutely false. But Edwin Edwards is probably known as one of the few governors in the entire country who was elected after being convicted of a money crime. What is it? White collar crime?
Yeah.
Which it was because he ran against David Duke. Quite honestly, that was the only reason he won. Because Louisiana wasn't as racist as people think it is. But my mother has a story, and so I want to tell this story on air.
Oh,
you've never heard this story. You're gonna love it. So my mother taught at a prominent Catholic high school in Baton Rouge, and my mother was not a political person. She did not follow politics that much. She voted based on the little bit of information she knew, like any normal American.
Right.
And she recalls the story of she was at a back-to-school night or something where parents came with the students, came with their children to... It was at the beginning of the year to view the campus and talk to teachers, etc. And so my mother was manning some table and showing people where to go, and she says, this man walked up to me, and I said, I know this man. He looks very, very familiar.
Yeah.
But I just can't place him, like his name's on the tip of my tongue. I don't know who he is. And he comes up and says, hi, I'm here to serve as a volunteer. I'm here early. Can you tell me where to go to help direct students, parents, etc.? And my mother says, I was about to say something, and something told me to stop. I stopped myself and said, no, don't say that. And so she said, he looked at me funny because he could tell that I was...
apprehensive.
Right, that I was biting my tongue in a way. And she said, so I eventually said, I think you go to that table over there, and pointed and gestured. She said 2 to 3 minutes later, a light bulb went off in her head. And she clasped her hand over her mouth and almost fell out. Because she realized that the man standing in front of her was Edwin Edwards.
Oh.
Convicted former governor.
No.
Of the state of Louisiana. And she almost said, oh, yes, sir, I believe you served your time over there. As a volunteer, right? And something, either God
told her
don't use those words.
Oh.
And if she had, my mother would have been a gay icon.
Yes. Well, I told you the story about David Duke, where Theo Vaughn, very famous comedian, said our next door neighbor grew up in Louisiana. Mm-hmm. Very nice man. He always threw our football back, and he just tends to his yard and everything like that. No, we learned 10 years after we lived next to him that was David Duke was our next door neighbor. This old, very white man with a very, very white features with a white mustache.
But the thing is, Edwin Edwards had actually served a few months terms, at least in prison for his crimes.
Right.
When she saw him as a volunteer.
Oh my God.
For his, by the way, child who was born of a marriage that was this man was really fucking old to have a kid in high school at the time. This was the 90s. And for those of you who don't know, Edwin Edwards and his last baby mama of they had a difference of 40 years between them. They had a reality show. Did you know that?
The Edwards reality show?
Yeah.
I want to tell you about the most bleak reality show I've ever seen. Okay. I'm going to talk about bleak and old Hollywood, by the way.
I don't want to hear about your life.
Exactly. The Lujan family ranch in Taos, Dennis Hopper owned. And I bid for a chair and I lost it, and I'm very upset because it's a gorgeous chair, a Spanish-style chair at his house. And I had it $100, $200, very cheap. I think it sold for $2,800, so I'm not going to spend that much for a chair. But he owned
Michelle
Lujan
Lujan Grisham probably fingered herself.
Exactly. It's not a seat. But I did want to talk about...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so that concludes our Louisiana history lesson. It is fascinating. If you want to hear more, let us know. I'll look up some more information and good facts.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Well, I did want to talk about a family that I feel like has gone in a very interesting way in politics. The Laxalts in Nevada. Do you know anything about them?
I know the name. I don't know anything about them.
So apparently, Adam Laxalt's, I guess, I don't know, father, uncle, something like that, was governor. What is this with Western states, by the way? Do you have multiple relatives serving in multiple capacities?
Louisiana's not a Western state, and it had the same thing.
That's very strange to me.
Does that not happen in California?
No.
I don't know California.
We don't have families run anything. Like, yes, Newsom is connected to Pelosi and Feinstein and all those other things, but, he's a Getty. But it's very weird to me that a family can have a descendant that just automatically gets elected for that role.
New York?
But what was the one that I sent you? Did I send you one where it was like the first time since, in 2020, the first time since 1919, I think it was a Huey Long.
Right.
The first, from 1919 to 2020, was the first time in 100 years that a Long family member, wife, otherwise, has not represented that state. That's very strange.
You sent me a tweet that said, okay, so it was a thread, but it was about Huey Long. It said, while Huey Long, his wife Rose, and his son Russell all served in the U.S. Senate, the Long family's political dynasty also extended for decades on the other side of Capitol Hill. Huey's older brother, Doc Long, won election in Congress, blah, blah, blah. And he said the last Long relative, State Senator Gerald Long, this is what was interesting, left office in 2020. Aside from an 8-year break in the 1940s, a member of the Long family served in elected office in Louisiana from 1918 to 2020.
That's
so 102
insane.
Years, there was some Long family member in office. I do not contest that or not believe it in the slightest. It was like, I'm telling you, it's like the Kennedys. They had a name. To this day, if a Long ran,
would win.
They'd win. Probably for good reason.
Do you think RFK would win if he ran? If he was, if RFK was the Democratic nominee, they've already asked Kamala, when Biden dies, are you prepared? And she said yes. They asked her in an interview this week.
I don't, because the United States is very different than a specific state, right? So Louisiana is very niche. It's very traditional. It likes its. Louisiana loves its
consistency.
It's conservative Democrats and liberal Republicans.
That's weird to me.
They will vote. Landrieu.
Mitch?
No.
Mary?
Mary Landrieu won over and over and over again. But she was the most centrist Democrat in... It was the Senate, right? Yeah,
right.
She was the senator.
Kind of like a... what's his name in West Virginia?
We all hated her in Louisiana because she was a Democrat and too centrist for us.
Kind of like a Joe Manchin.
Right, but if you looked at the bigger picture... She was more on our side than she was on the progressive side. So they love
their conservative... You can have a Democrat that's almost hard right, and they'll vote for them over a Republican that's somewhat or wishy-washy conservative.
Right, which is why so many governors of Louisiana have been Democrat, because they've been moderate Democrats. They've been down the middle,
but still relatively conservative.
Yeah, that's the only reason they win. But they know that. They know that going into the office or going into the election. Right. They know that they have to speak to certain demographics of Louisianians.
What demographic?
Is it
an old white demographic? What speaks to what hears this person's a Democrat, I'm going to vote for them even though they might be very conservative? What demographic hears that? There's
a very specific type of Louisianian that is loyal to their family.
Yeah.
And my mother says this, and she said, the day that I registered as a Republican, my grandfather rolled in his grave.
Wow.
Because while my grandfather was conservative, he always voted Democrat, and he always was a Democrat.
So it's like a New Deal leftover.
Yes. So there are still threads of that through the entire state. Of there are people in North and South Louisiana who are registered Democrats and will vote Democrat just because their family has always done so.
That's so
even though they have more conservative values.
Right.
So they know any Democrat running in the state knows that they have to be a little bit more centrist than progressive.
Right. You're not going to get an AOC in Louisiana.
Never. And that on top of the fact that in the bigger cities like Baton Rouge and New Orleans, the larger population is now the black population. And they primarily and predominantly vote Democrat, have always done that. So I don't think you will, in the near future, find
a red
Republican...
state, but they'll vote for Democrats.
Yes.
That's fascinating.
They will have Democrats across the board in state government, but they will be red in any presidential election. It's not fascinating, really, because it makes sense.
It is fascinating.
Because when you break down the stances of those people running locally, they are so much more conservative than anyone.
Well, but also in Louisiana,
national.
you have a parish setup.
Yeah,
it's similar to a county setup, I guess, but it's different. It is different.
It is, but it's a very fascinating and
I feel like to win there,
thing.
You have to hit the streets and be in among the people. You can't be a politician who just is completely removed.
Yeah. Anyway, we've gone far too long for this episode. And did you have anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, that was everything. There's another story, but I forgot it. I was mid talking about it and I forgot it, and I'm old and, dementia's hitting.
Yeah, you are old.
What? Not as old as you. I'm 24.
I'm 21.
I'm old.
Ew.
Ew.
But
if you were Ron DeSantis' campaign, they would say...
What?
I was going to say, go fuck yourself.
I don't know what you're setting me up for. Your jokes are horrible.
What's this one? Your jokes are horrible.
I'm a Muppet. I don't know. No, but in all honesty, John Bel Edwards is... Well, okay. The Indian guy who was the last Republican ever elected to governorship.
Bobby Jindal.
Bobby Jindal in Louisiana. He fucked it up for so many Republicans in that state.
Why? Because they're so useless.
No, because he did what he said he was going to do, which was not popular in the state. He actually cut spending, which he should have done, and was a fiscally responsible and conservative thing to do. But to the detriment of a lot of people.
Oh.
And he was not forgiven for that, and he was voted out very quickly. And I think because of what he did, Republicans in the state of Louisiana should go fuck themselves.
Okay, there we go.